second session or the second part of this seminar, let me introduce to you our keynote speaker. So our keynote speaker for this afternoon is a life mentor, space scientist, science communicator, poet, author, educationist, motivational speaker, psychological life career counseling expert, image building, peak performance coach, spiritual master with Himalayan tradition, conscious living commune associate, exponent on Indian heritage philosophy, Bhagavad Gita, and Sanatana Dharma. So far, since 2000 for the past 22 years, he reached to more than 1 million each teachers, parents, and students. Hundreds of interviews on TV, media, Discovery TV with Kumbh Mela Talk, acting in short films, TEDx Talk, UNNGO talks, and Bhagavad Gita classes. He has also been into workshops and residential camps for about thousands, and 48 hours non-stop classes for 6,500 students in a session for 6 hours, 50,000 public and 1,200 BTEC in sessions, etc., special to the speaker. Covered physically at Fiji, UK, USA, Gulf, Hong Kong, and every nook and corner of India. 2 years over 1,000 virtual sessions including regular masterclass in UK, lead Philippine Science in Technology and Management, South Korean interaction classes apart from online mentoring and educational workshops across the globe. More than 3,200 videos reaching 6,400 subscribers on YouTube. Having experience with Vedic tradition from Brahmasri KPC Anujan Bhattatiripad, silence from Himalayan Rama tradition with Mahamandaleswar Swami Veda Bharati, astrology, Vastu, and many Indian Sanatana heritage from traditional gurus. The speaker is into five-fold holistic development with Eastern philosophy. And as mentioned earlier, he is a space scientist. He worked as a scientist in space department for 2 decades. He worked as director of UGC Academic Staff College and went on to serve as a deputy director at the Directorate General of Security. He is also a cabinet secretariat at New Delhi before taking a voluntary retirement in 2009 to serve the society. Associated with university as professor, head in mathematics and management, and executive director of engineering college. Through corporate social responsibility advisor at SOBA Developers, executive director of SNGC ET, CSR on education with SOBA Developers, and being founder director of the Guardian Public School, and being CEO of Shiksha Grandma Child Care Foundation, and made innovative model in youth education. Moreover, through Shiksha JNAANAM residential camps, it focused on youth development across the globe, covered world across from Fiji to USA, and serving as a chairman Research Council of International Internship University. He is also the Chief Research Officer and is in management team with Igniting Dreams of Young Minds Foundation. And he is also the National Research Head of AISDC with United National Volunteer, a mentor with Abdul Kalam Foundation, and consultant of many agricultural development projects and community farming. In addition, he is the chairman and CEO of World Social Craft Foundation. By 2021, the Egyptian Ambassadors Academy confirmed an honorary doctorate in peace. That's wow, a big wow for us. Moreover, to dwell into the background of our speaker, he's also been part of the World Social Craft Foundation with International Institute for Advanced Academics in terms of the soft skill life learning, and it is reaching out worldwide with youth development activities, and it made difference in the life of millions. The speaker is in many international bodies as mentor and consultant and as advisor in the supporting the directions of their activities across the globe. He is an MSc, MPhil, PhD, LLB, MBA, MS, and learned Vedic traditions astrology, Agama Kshatras from Bharatiya Traditional Masters. He is a published author of titles Rhythm of Life, Life Made Simple, Life of Love, Adaptive Learning, Emotional Intelligence for Corporate Corporation, and Sibling. He is a regular international guest speaker and also a MAID contributor. Lastly, in terms of the awards of our speaker for this afternoon, he has an award of SPEC Remote Sensing Award, President of India ACFM Award, Raja Raksha India Vision in Space, Gagni Award, Bilai Social Service Award, Manavaratna Puraskaram Kochi, Kerala State Parents Teachers Association Karma Shrestha Puraskaram 2021, COVID Warrior Award, and lastly, Hyderabad 2022, and a lot more of awards. Without further ado, let us welcome the speaker for this afternoon with the topic Organizational Culture and Change Management, Navigating Transitions. Let's welcome Dr. D.P. Sasikumar. Good afternoon, Doc.
Namaskaram, pranams. Sorry troubling
Sorry for other pronunciations.
Sorry troubling Gabriela for making you to read the big stanza. If I knew, I would have given one paragraph and make your life much more simpler. Sorry for that. And thank you.
We are very impressed with your background, Doc.
Namaskaram. It's sometimes nice to know me refresh. Sometime when somebody reads, I hear them, right? Yeah. Thank you, my brother Edward from Canada, who just spoke on the health safety aspect in the environment. I want a real change from all the participants because the topic itself is on change, right? Organizational culture and change management. Beautiful topic. This is one of the paper which I have to study during my MBA course in India. I did very well in that. And I was also part of changing organizational culture in many organizations where I worked practically. I did some changes. And it's not very difficult to change, but only people have to decide that they want to have a change. I want all of you to change now. I want all of you to have, my number is specified there. Chat box is active, right? I'm looking at chat box, and I want all of you to have a pen and paper, or maybe digitally keep writing what notes you can make from my talk. Keep sending me on my WhatsApp. If you're hooked up on the system where you cannot make a message and send it to me now, keep a paper and pen beside. Keep writing. Because any seminar, maybe some 200 people are attending. At least 20 of you get benefit. I'm a good teacher. If none of you gets benefited, I'm the worst. I'm wasting my time. You are wasting your time. I know Prof.Dr.MAR, with whom I am associated for long years, almost 2-3 years now, started from the COVID time. I've been talking to Philippine people. It's quite encouraging. In many of the programs earlier, I got a lot of feedbacks, a lot of discussions, a lot of interactions. Maybe when there are 500 people, I had audience of 500 people at a stretch in such a class where we had the management programs, where I was a speaker many times, dealt with many topics. I have seen most of the time some 30-40 people will interact. That means 10% of you are sending message to me. Maybe over 2-3 years, I see that at least once in a while, 5 of them send a message. That's a good number. 1 of 100 is a good number, right? So I have got good sisters and brothers in Philippines. Philippines is not very far from India. I am now in the southwest corner of India now. Otherwise, I stay in the center of India, Hyderabad. If you have not visited India, welcome. I'll be there to host you. I conduct a lot of residential camps. So if you're coming in a group, I can host you there. And if you look at the temperature in probably Philippines and India looks almost the same, because I am now in the southernmost southwest corner of India, which is Kerala, Kerala. Look at the geography. Almost the same latitude is where you are, but longitudinally we are away. You are following the China time, Beijing time, but we have our own Indian standard time, so it's noon here, but whereas almost reaching 30 minutes before the noon, 12 o'clock, you are little better off in the evening. We have summer here, a lot of problems. When we talk about culture, why am I saying relating to this? Because basically I am a remote sensing man. From the satellite, looking at the area, understanding geography is what I was doing for 20 years in Space Department. Space Department sends satellites on top of the Earth, looks at what is happening on the ground. And there is a lot of relationship between the culture to the geography. Right? When I have to look at the map, I see Gulf in the west, cross India, look at Hong Kong, Japan and little north, and Taiwan, Singapore in between India and Philippines. Look at the geography, understand where you are. Very, very essential. I'm telling you this because I want you to draw the picture, look at the geography, look at to whom I am talking, understand the background, navigate yourself in the transition. That is what the topic is. Organizational culture and change management. I am now looking at a group of people from a different far off place where your dynamics is different, your culture is different, the economy is different. India is fast growing now. The politics matters, the geography matters, the climate matters, the people and their attitude matters. Culture is the attitude set for a long time. And that culture individually will also influence on the organization. So when I am talking, what I want is all of you to have the culture of a student. Maybe you are at a different age, little senior people. But when I am talking as a teacher and you are listening to me, I want all of you to write down. Some reflections will come in you. Some thoughts will come in you. Some definitely questions will come in you. What is to be done? Write it down. Send it to me. Take a picture and send it after some time. Good enough. This lecture is only 1 hour. But the relationship between me and you is not end with one lecture. It could be any time. Communicate. So write down the number. DrTPS. You can Google. DrTPS. Teachers, parents, students. Earlier I was in police service, so it becomes top police service. Before that I was a scientist, so it becomes temperature pressure second. Yeah. So don't have to remember my name. Logically think, because this world is not copying from somewhere, making it work in different areas. You have to be so dynamic. Navigating your culture, your geography, your language, your knowledge, your skill have to be so dynamic. Your ability depends on where you are. What is your political system? If your political system is not good, people from India migrate. Lakhs and lakhs of people migrate from India to US. Equal number of people migrate to the West in UK. I got hundreds and thousands of students in UK. Many people migrate to my brother Edward Mandal's place. Canada is one of the destination for India. You come to any city in India, you can see a lot of boats saying that migrate to Canada, migrate to Germany, migrate to UK, migrate to US. Why? Because opportunities are based on the geography, the economics, the politics, the development that happens. I'm sure Philippines is a dynamic nation with very great growing economy. That means many of you will find yourself entering into organizations not just in Philippines, internationally. At the end of this session, I am going to give one example probably, which I always was when I was traveling to US. When I look at organizational development, change in technology, change management, and many of my lectures in the management sessions during my professorship of business management, business administration, I found Philippines have done great job. One company is good enough. One company is good enough. Amazon is good enough. I want you to write down which company started in Philippines. When I am talking, I said I want your reflections. I like to see in the chat box or in my message. I am keeping my phone on. To see that, oh, this is my company from my nation. We have gone internationally. The world over, people look for a company in Philippines. I am suspending that company's name. Probably there may be many, but I look upon one company which is in the food market which have become really powerful in that world. Okay, I will wait. In between, probably if you get an answer, you can send it on the chat box onto my WhatsApp. They have grown just because of an organizational culture. And that culture, that attitude of an organization is with each individual who are part of that organization. So write down one formula from DrTPS. This is one of my formula which I keep telling in all my management lectures. And that formula is performance P is equal to O plus A plus S. O is the opportunity available. That is given by the geography, politics, economics, the policies, etc., etc. Attitude is the culture. How people have molded themselves into a drastic change which they can make internally so that the social environment, the organizational environment, the city, the people warmth in which they deal with others, all that depends on the attitude. And then A, O and S. S is the skill. The world is changing. Many people keep changing, and certain people change very fast, certain people change very slow. All of them will change. When education is being spoke in India, the vast country, probably 10 times, 15 times bigger than your nation in terms of geography and economics. The population density in Filipino is too large. I come from, told you, a place called Kerala, Kerala, which is in the south west corner of India, where the population density is almost equal to what you have in Philippines. Area wise, it is 10 times smaller than you. The 2.6% of India population lives with maybe 858 persons per kilometer. The population per kilometer 2.5 times that of the whole India. What is the challenge for Philippines? When you look at, I know the problems of Philippines, because though I have never been to Philippines, I have never landed on Philippines so far, looking for an opportunity very soon. Understand the behavior, the change, how things have become different from past few years? Is it a change in 100 years, or is it a change that happened very fast? I'm sure this is a change which happened very fast. Therefore, Dr. TPS have defined a new terminology. Look at the word which I'm saying. Google, you will end up in Dr. TPS. The word is called 3, 2, 1 world. What is 3, 2, 1 world? 10 years back, Philippines would not have conducted a program like this, where an Indian speaking to you on an online platform like this. The change what we have seen in education, the change we have seen in business, the change we have seen in development, the change we have seen in the culture, because we are mixing so fast, the number of aircrafts, the number of flights, the number of airports, the number of imports and exports, the trade, what is happening around the world, the item which comes to your house by clicking on an application which is available on your mobile, the education system, everything has changed over 10 years. So Dr. TPS me is not talking about a 21st century change. So I feel it's not a transformation, it's not a transition, it's a dynamic world in which we are living. And that world of dynamics, I call it as 3, 2, 1 world. The 3, 2, 1 world is one world with third decade of 21st century. That's why I'm calling it as 3, 2, 1 world. It is not 2, 1 century. It is third decade of 21st century. The culture changes very fast. The change in organization happens very, very fast. I know Filipinos are very good. The value systems are very good. The close relationship is too much. And the hierarchy in which people work, the relationship between the boss and the subordinate have changed. So the organizational structure, organizational behavior, the marketing strategy, everything has become so dynamic. The communication style in which we communicate have changed, leading the misunderstanding because of the culture, because of the dynamics, from the elderly to the younger, because younger people change very fast. How do you become successful in this sort of a changing scenario? How do you show your performance, which in the organizational opportunity, the neighborhood behavior, the O which I am talking about, P performance is equal to O, the opportunity. The opportunity is the environment in which you are. So environment, you can replace it by E, environment also if you want. Environment and opportunities are one and the same. But environment has changed now. It's a world environment. The market is not a country, not a nation, not within the boundary of a small state, but it is too large. The world is one small village today. The world is very, very vast. So how do you embrace the change of accepting the whole world growth as part of your growth in your nation, in your state, in your neighborhood, in your organization? How do you seek informations? So one is embrace with the change. Move very fast. 3, 2, 1 world fast. And second one, seek information. Ask questions. You have to communicate. Very, very rarely we see people who are communicating. Every day I get lot of messages. Unless and until I finish replying to all of them, finishing my job, I don't go for sleep. That's because I expect more communication tomorrow. Every day I am adding people like this. Now I am talking to Filipinos, nearly 200 of them. I am going to record this and then post it onto YouTube. Many of them will repeatedly listen to this. Look at Dr. TPS, the video. By tomorrow morning, it will be up on my YouTube. So build your network, not just beside your house. The world is very, very small. There is a great management principle which says, which is part of, I'm basically a mathematician. In graph theory, the subject we say that I can connect to anyone in the world with jumping from one to another, one to another, one to another, one to another, with 6 nodes, only 6 people I have to connect. The 6th person will be the person whom I wanted to connect. Let it be the American president of the Philippines chief, any king of any country. It's quite possible. So what is important? Communication. Your style of communication from your grandparents to parents to child has to change now. We are in a global family. DrTPS belongs to your family now. Build your network. I am sure Professor Mar connected to me, and I am connected to Professor Mar, who is the responsible person for making this happen. Just because we got connected, we communicated. Anybody can communicate to anybody. Build your network, seek information, embrace the change, have an open mind. The world, there are a lot of cheats. Today, one of my Facebook profile has been hacked. But that doesn't matter. I have got 3-4. And each place I have written my number so that you can check whether it is genuine. Is it DrTPS? Telephone. So somebody sent a message saying that no, this telephone number given is different. So is it that you? If that communication do not happen, you will be in soup. You are going to get cheated. So what is required? Open mind. Good communication. Your strength is collaboration. I know what Philippines can do. You can collaborate with the people. You've got a lot of resilience and strong work ethics. And these valuable assets should be holding without dilution. Don't change this. The culture has to be holding very, very strong. The root of your country, your culture has to go deeper. But it's like a tree growing. Change is like a tree growth. You have to grow up higher. Probably what India is looking at as a great country today is connecting back to its roots and then trying to grow as best as you can. Otherwise, the root is very, very, very shallow. You are not strongly deep rooted. The tree grows very big. A small wind is enough to make it to fall. So change is always good. But the cultural aspect, the value aspect, the tradition has to be very strong. So I appreciate the title given for my talk. It's not what I opted. The title is given: Organizational Culture and Change Management. Navigating transition in the workplace. In the workplace, what is to be done? So you should be strong in your roots and background. Embrace a change. Seek information. Build your networks. Be open-minded. Highlight your strength as Filipinos. I have not seen any message, any chat answer coming to me from any of the participants on which is that probably the most beloved fast food chain which you have in Filipino. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. I want this response. So Jollibee Foods Corporation. When I was traveling in US, I have seen the whole North America is filled with beautiful shops, challenging any other food chain, any other business organization. The Jollibee, which started in 1975 in your country, Philippines, established in Philippines, just started like a traditional, typical food brand with small items. Over past 50 years, the growth is very fast. When in the present, I don't know exactly the latest scenario, but I'm sure there are more than 1,500 stores worldwide. The chain of the Jollibee Foods Corporation, the largest and the fastest growing, the Asian company, which actually got the market of the Western country. All Filipinos can be proud of this. I've got many brands, over maybe 5,000 stores, covered in 21 countries. You know how the growth happened from 1,500 to this many in the few last years, which now makes a beautiful economy for the Philippines, because every activity which is started in your country, when it grows in crores of rupees of business, the benefit is, or the courage and the proud privilege is, that it is my country. So I'm sure such a famous company, how did it grow? You look at the culture in which, that's what I want. Can anybody write down the culture practice which the company has grown under, the deep rooted? Now I am talking about the progress in the last 3, 2, 1 world probably. Now let me know the culture and the deep rooted quality of Filipinos which have been kept intact even when it has grown globally. I don't know how do I pronounce it. Is it Pakikasama and Discarta? The Pakikasama and Discarta, the concept of Pakikasama, which talks about get going with, get along with other people, be social, let us be communicative, the number which I was talking about, communication, network, strategy, and that Discarte is the strategy, the resourcefulness, using the opportunity, getting the skill, understanding what best can be done, within all that, with the deep rooted culture in which your country is for the millions of years. So the Pakikasama and the Discarte, go along with the people, work with the people, mix with the people, enjoy being with them with a great strategy. As I understand, Discarte means the strategy, the resourcefulness which you can work with. These are the two strong value system, the culture, the organizational culture which was there for this company, Jollibee company, which made it to grow itself. Suppose you are a company which diluted its culture, diluted its style, diluted its values, I'm sure it cannot stand in the market for last 50 years. So the 321 world impact on the Philippines, which I look upon, I'm sure that is why all of you are here, because Professor Mar is having association with the American University now, the St. James University, on which platform I am talking now. So a Philippines university having a tie-up with an American university, collaboratively doing this program in the 21st century, third decade. You are in the 321 world, characterized by the exponential growth in the importance of technology, society, global change through education. Otherwise, this is what the program is. This is an education program. It's a knowledge sharing program. So rapid transformation demands continuous knowledge, demands adaptation, demands innovation. So if you are not part of the augmented reality, artificial intelligence, supply chain management, and understanding what's happening in the technological world, I'm sure you cannot cope up with the world. So the skill in which the technology is moving very fast, what technology we had 10 years back is not what is happening today. So you have to be dynamic in that, but static in the culture and the values which you have. The fast moving, a constant change, that world is what I am calling as 321 world. It is not you, it's a global, rapid, global growth. The world is not a small world around you. The world is a developing accelerating change. Sometimes somebody falls down very fast, goes up. You can see companies, as the company grows, some company also falls. Some company who is done very well, the culture is not kept very strong. You can see them, they have to sell the whole company to somebody else. They have to merge with somebody else. As you merge with the other company, what happens? The culture changes. List down. I've got a great assignment for you. List down all the best companies. I do this quite often to understand. Look at how did they grow. How fast they have grown. How the transformation happened. It just because you can see the education, the culture, and more significant, looking at global situation, getting adjusted to the fast thinking, fast moving global world. So what is to be done? Each one of us, each one of you, each one of us have to be creatively very dynamic. Developing creative thinking, creativity to the power of infinity. That is my TEDx talk. Most important is creativity. Now I am talking to you on a topic which is given to me. I kept on thinking about it. In my creativity, what comes to me is what I am presenting. List down all the technical terms, all that what I spoke. I am sure you cannot get somewhere else, because it is from the dynamic thoughts which I have, which I process myself. And that concept of 3-2-1 world, I used it many places. The concept of performance is equal to attitude, opportunity and skill, I have used it many places. But on this specific topic which I am talking to the Philippines group of young business, young aspirants, young entrepreneurs, probably the business people, probably the teachers, probably the educators, probably who are interested in understanding, learning from a different part of the world. These two coins are good enough. 3-2-1 world, performance P is equal to attitude, opportunity and skill. You can Google. I'm sure you will land up on DrTPS, listen to many of my lectures. So that key, the creativity key which you have, that key which you have to think about that, on that, upon that, around that, and understand globally what is happening with this, which is connected to the internet today, www, where, when, what, why, how it is happening. www, I keep saying this. Where, when, what, why, how it's happening. Ask this. Physically strong, intellectually sharp, emotionally balanced, the culture will give you that strength. Otherwise, these days, many people are committing suicide because they are not able to adjust. Adjust with the change is the problem. I'm a psychotherapist. I'm a psychologist. I get a lot of information. Yesterday, I had one information that one of the person whom I met last month, very dynamic, very active, committed suicide. Nobody is able to understand what's going inside you. Why is it happening? Because one, you are not able to adjust with the situation. You are not able to change. Second one, you are not able to communicate to somebody. That is why I am stressing this communication, networking. May not be you cannot talk to your parents, you cannot talk to your colleagues, you cannot talk to your friends. But you can always find in this digital world somebody else in another part of the world. I am a mentor. I know how people are undergoing difficulties, the young people, because they are not able to cope up with the change. Either it could be skill, or it could be attitude, or it could be opportunities. I have got great ability, but I am not able to show my opportunity. I am not able to see the environment is not very good. But world is too far. You can reach anywhere in the world. Why are you restricted upon this? So, the transformation, the change in which you are, when you look at the world as a great world, I'm sure the impact on each and every Filipinos, as Philippines is expecting for a revolutionary change in education, the cultural development, you can reach anywhere in the world. You can reach anywhere in the world. The modules, the papers, the subjects which you are dealing, which I was talking to many of these programs wherein Professor Mark called me for the program, I have seen it has got an international global outlook. The beyond boundaries. I'm sure the world is going to open up. The global market is opened up. The people are moving across. Every day you look at how many people travel internationally. The national boundaries have become only a boundary for the administration. In the digital world, I can reach out to anybody like this. Now we are running programs in collaboration. I've got a University of Americas, the Yoga University of Americas, which is running programs in India. A Canadian university is having a tie-up with me to it's on discussion to give programs on academics from early child care to the top. I've made syllabus and changes for the early child care education from age 3 to grade 3. How things have to change. I'm sure this concept which I have developed in India is not just in India. It can grow anywhere in the world. The Philippines, it can be easily get adapted. So what will happen? The next generation will become logically, analytically, communicatively, networking. The whole change in the culture very slowly moves into the world culture, but deep rooted in our own heritage culture. When you can hold that with that high creativity, the emphasis is on creativity, so that you are very strong, emotionally strong, intellectually strong, socially very active, and spiritually much higher. Thinking. Now I'm sure people will think, oh, I have to connect to DrTPS. The number is given. I have write down. I will do it tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. World is moving very fast. Acting fast is very essential. Now, if you don't write down on the chat box now, after the session, the chance is lost. So when you have to do it right now. Acting faster is most essential. The fast environment, the fast opportunity, the fast moving skill, all that depends on your attitude. Critical thinking, problem solving ability, the decision making, and presence of mind. Keep these skill with you. I'm sure any development in any technology can be in your hand. And if you don't change with the technology, you will be left far behind. You cannot develop yourself. So analyze the information, get the essence of that information, make that information yours, change your attitude. The mindset have to change. Not probably a transformation. I probably like to call it as a revolutionary change, because transformation is a slow process. A revolutionary change, a dynamic, a volcanic change in your brain should happen. The developing the ability to think and adapt quickly, taking crucial decisions very fast, is the most important part in the change in the 3-2-1 world. Creativity, I told you, the global mindset, the global market, and keep that culture, keep your education very strong, revolutionize the change, not in you, but in your family, but in your organization, because family and organization are not different. When we talk about HR, we talk about the way in which people talk. The cultural difference in their family, in the society, reflects in the organization. The organizational behavior. That's a big subject to be learned. I was teaching for the MBA programs, Master of Business Administration in India. One of the topic which I loved to discuss was organizational behavior. It has got a lot of psychological approach. So I'm an MS in psychotherapy. I learned a lot of psychology. I learned geopolitics. So mix of all these becomes part of the organizational culture, organizational behavior, organizational change. Change doesn't come from the top to bottom. There are different types of changes. There is a change agent, an external person. Like I was a change agent in one of the companies. As a consultant, we go there discuss with the top, identify. If top decisions are given and the change doesn't happen in the lower part, the organization fails. The lower portion, the people in the lower category wanted a change, the top management doesn't allow that, the organization fails. So it's not a top down or down top approach. It's an overall dynamic change with the change agent involving in all the levels, making the communication very good. The organizational behavior is understood properly, the change can happen in the organization. This is how understanding the organizational culture create the change management. It makes a valuable transformation, but in this world you cannot wait for longer time, so it becomes a very fast, volcanic, dynamic. Yet actual change happens in 10 years. The Philippines have very strong, unique ability to collaborate, strong work ethics, very strong feelings for the feelings of your nation, your society, your world. Keep it lifelong, but learn the development globally happening. This is what I have to suggest you. This is what I want to tell you. If navigating this transformation for Filipinos through the organizational culture and the change management topic given to me, you may not be the head of an organization today, but I'm sure adapting to such a situation when you grow in the pyramid, when you reach on to the top, the self-actualization is the spiritual word to be used. You understand, it is not my happiness, it is the happiness of the people around me which I have to look at. Ena kena prakarena yasya kasyabi dehinaha sandosham janayat pratna tadaivam ishwara pujanam. It's a great saying in the Indian tradition. My existence, my leadership, my ability to make differences in anyone in this world which gives happiness at one instance, no, not temporary, but for longer time. If I can trigger that, if I can trigger that change, if I can be one person who can make a small difference which makes long difference in the long-term life of anyone in the growing economy, that trigger is what is essential. If all of you who are participating here, if one or two people could make a small trigger of that change, I'm sure tomorrow when you become part of a great organization, you can make a difference to many of the people who are working under you. So I'm so glad. I will stop now. I can go on and on, but I wait for your interaction, your questions. I love to see that you come on to, you're all on the video now. You could talk to me, you can ask me, unmute and ask, or you can type on the chat box or send me a WhatsApp. I will react to that in case you are not able to do it now for many constraints, many reasons. I am sure you can always get back to me on my number 95020388875 with Indian code +91. So pranams and thank you. Thank you for hosting me here under this great university. Under Professor MAR, I must thank for giving me this opportunity to become part of you all. So I expect some questions, I expect some feedbacks. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sasikumar, for that fruitful discussion that we just had. Now let us move on to the question and answer portion. Participants, if you have any question, you may now drop it on our chat box and this will be answered.
Any questions? How can organization efficiently address resistance to change within their workforce, and what strategic approaches can they employ to not only overcome resistance but also cultivate a culture of adaptability and resilience? Furthermore, what are some prevalent pitfalls organizations should remain vigilant of when executing culture change initiatives, and how can they take proactive measure to mitigate these risks? I told you there are top down and down top change which happens in the organization. These are not very positive way of changing an organization. So generally a collaborative approach, lot of discussions, lot of dynamic, very active communication from top to bottom, bottom to top. That behavior is inculcated in the organization. Any change is not either dictated from the top or warranted by the bottom. One of the best methods is to create a change agent. It can be external, it can be internal. You can have department to department, putting people from one department to another department, trying to make them to implement the change so that they feel it is not the change of an organization as a whole, but it is the man who is in charge of. Suppose there is a purchase department, marketing department, and there are finance department, HR department, recruiting department. Change people on the top of these, like director level, manager level, senior manager level, to shift from one department to the another department, so that they will implement a change. The organization, the lower people who are working under them will think, oh, it is not an organizational change, but the change because some new person has come on top of us as a boss. So this is how the change happens internally in an organization. Another method is, some company takes me as a consultant, put me there, I understand and learn what is the problem, where there can be a problem, where there can be a risk, submit a report there, and then tell them this is how you should make the change. So there are external agents, there are internal agents, and these change happens through the agents, either internally or externally, either communicating to an external person or communicating between the organizational different portfolios. Things will become very smooth, the risk will be very less. Wonderful question, a very good question which is of general concern for any company. And another thing, why companies fail very drastically. There is an organization which grows very fast, but after some time it cannot grow. Therefore, you need a diversification. You have to grow into different markets, and you must find who is good and try to give to the third party and subcontract to somebody else. Don't take up all the activity under you. Subcontract to somebody else. There are a lot of private parties who are available in the world around with different expertise. Give it to all of them and see that your employers are upskilled. Assume that the company decides to go digital, but you are still keeping all the old employees who are not educated well, who doesn't have computer literacy also. What will happen? The company will fail. So the skill development, the organizational attitude development, and the environment which you get adjusted very fast. This is what my formula, DrTPS formula, which I said as performance P is equal to A, or environment E, O opportunity plus skill. Attitude, opportunity or environment, and skill. That development should happen parallelly. And investment is a big thing which people grow from different parts. How do an individual becomes an entrepreneur? From an entrepreneurship, you become a company holder. From a company holder, you become a financier. So what will happen to companies? They will grow much faster. They will take a lot of equity money from different people who are rich, from different world. The share market grows very faster. When you grow very fast, you invest in different companies, then that company fails, your company also will fail. So these are all the risk factors. So I answered the first question as best as I can. We could discuss that later in case if you are interested further. There's another question which I have got from Boni again. How can organization ensure successful integration of the new values and behaviors into existing company culture during transformation initiatives? See, there are two things. Each one of us, look at personally, we have got a character. We don't show our character when you behave with the people. There are two terminologies which I am using. One is character, another one is behavior. Our behavior changes very fast. People to people. The way we behave with the parents, our friends, our colleagues, the younger children, unknown person are entirely different. But we are the same person. The character is what stays in us, like the culture stays in an organization. The change is what, the communication is what, the networking is what, the behavior is. So there are two things. The new values are like behavior adjustment. And existing culture is what the character is. That is why sometimes what happens when we discuss with someone, when we talk to someone, when we get angry, we keep saying, I will show you my real face. That means until now, we are not showing our real face, right? So what you show to somebody when you get angry is what is behavior. Your basic mood is what is the culture, the character. So the character is the culture. The change in values is what is the behavior. It has to go tandem. It has to go together. Otherwise, you will have a lot of problems. This is what is to be understood. That's what I'm saying. The vision and mission. The vision of a company is written down. The mission is what you modify every time. So vision is there, mission is also there. Identify what other companies are doing in the competitive world around you. Modify yours based on the mission which you have. But vision is a larger growth which you have, the larger policy which you have, that should not be changed. So there should not be a conflict between the vision and the mission. There should not be a conflict between your behavior and character. Your attitude has to be understood perfectly. So there is another beautiful lectures from DrTPS which I generally do. Role, goal, values. Type DrTPS, role, goal, values. The values is the organizational value. The role is what the individuals in the company has. The goal is the goal of the company as a whole. The company has a goal, that is the vision. That is the mission. But each individual goal should not conflict with the company's goal and the values. Then finished. So balancing the role, goal, values is most important in growth of any company. If that cannot be balanced, the transformation initiative will make you down. You will die very fast. Another question. Good day, DrTPS on the global stage. Thank you so much. We are in a global stage. I am sitting in India talking to Philippines for a university in America. The root cause of employees' resistance to change in organizational development is no presence of mind, no attitude, no growth attitude, no dynamics. You're a static culture. The culture comes from education. The culture comes from the parents. Some parents will say, why do you want to change? I am like this. You can also be like that. No? They are not ready to take advices. The parents will always keep giving you advices saying that, no, I am happy. This is good enough. Why do you want to go abroad? Our country is good. Our economy is good. We have food every day. Nice place to sleep. marry somebody beside, produce children, send them to LKG, make them PG, get into the life which is a constrained life of yours. Beyond the limits, you will not grow like this. So that limitless growth will happen. Any organization. Otherwise, why a company in Philippines have to do well in America? Your business would have been in your own country, your own village. Many people are like that even today in the global scenario. See, I am talking to you because I am from a small village from Kerala. Look at DrTPS. My interviews are there in which I am discussing where I am coming from. Where medium of education was my own mother tongue, not English. I am not learned in English medium up to my 10th class. Up to my 15 age, which is a major change happens today in any of you or any of the people in the world. I didn't have that opportunity to listen to English lectures. I am from a mother tongue which is called Malayalam, which is spoken only in a small state. That was my medium of language. But when I became postgraduate, when I become PhD, I traveled across different states. You look at DrTPS in the last few months. I have traveled all throughout India. Look at my last year travel. I was in UK, where my students are teachers in UK. And their get together in which I was a guest. And you can see students from Russia, students from different parts of the world. And look at how many countries I spoke. Look at how many places which I reach. Assume that change in the global scenario. You cannot change. That is why today I am getting a address like, DrTPS on the global stage. That's a great credit for me. If 5 Philippines from you as students send a message and discuss with me, I consider it as a great growth for me. And I'm sure each one of you can consider it as a great growth for you, because you can come and stay in India with me. I've got a facility. Look at DrTPS on the Google map. On the Google map, you will see 3 facilities in India where I conduct programs. In the introduction, I was introduced and then said JNAANAM, NANAM. And NANAM, which participated by people all across the globe in camps where 10 days program happens. You can look at that word NANAM means knowledge in English, in Sanskrit. Translation for NANAM from Sanskrit, which is the heritage language in India, translated to English means knowledge. The house name itself is, the program name itself is knowledge. And why did I name it like that? It's an acronym which I derived from Janaki Narayanan Mendre. That is my mother's and father's name. So I am deep rooted in my culture where my mother and father gave me the birth. In that village, I conduct programs, an international program. See how am I doing? I am deep rooted in my culture, deep rooted in my village. I am in a city, staying now, talking to you from a city. I stay in another city in India, which is 2000 kilometers away. Probably that is the width of your Philippines as a country. I keep traveling like this. But get back to my village once in a while and then connect back to my roots. That is most essential. So any organization gets connected root into the culture and propagate the organizational development and change. I am sure that will become very good. How the employers also should be similarly without resistance, because I am deep rooted in my culture. Why we are not changing? Because we think that we will lose our culture. Why your parents don't send you to different places? Oh, what will happen to my child? Their culture will go, their system will go, the behavior will change, they get diluted. That is why they are not ready to open up. So I'm sure you should show your values very strong, defines the goal very, very, very wider and vast. Grow. The world is so fast. Grow as much as you can, beyond the limits. But your role as a student, as a parent, as a boy, as a girl, as a mother, as a husband, as a wife, as a child, as a person in the society, keep it very strong. Then the society will give you a lot of wisdom, lot of respect, and you always will feel, as you grow at the highest, also highly dignified. Assume that you are a person who doesn't change in an organization, but organization itself is changing. You will fall. You will be thrown out of the organization. So having pace, having steps, moving fast as the organization is moving is most essential for every individual to sustain. You resist, the organization will change, but you will be thrown out of the organization. And what are the root causes? The resistance of one person, or some places the union. I know the definition of union is those who cannot communicate individually, create as a group and then start communicating is what is called union. And what happens? The union activity, the political interference, all that will kill the organization. So it is not one employer. Their change cannot make any differences, but large number of people resisting, the organization will die. So don't give chances. The political situation the country should take care of that. Okay. Yeah. I think I have answered that question, the last question which is on display here on chat.
I guess there are no more questions from the participants, Doctor.
Thank you so much.
That concludes the first topic. Thank you to our dear speakers, Mr. Mondol and Dr. Sasikumar, for this insightful session. To our HRSM2 coordinators, Instructor Gabriela Felipe, Instructor Carly Momongan, Instructor Caitlin Bautista, Instructor Anna Doreen Agustin, and especially to our department head, Instructor Ralph. Thank you so much for being with us. Lastly, to our participant, I hope that everyone was able to learn and gain full knowledge. It's been a pleasure being